order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 23rd Port Clinton City Council regular meeting in the Linda Hartlove Chambers at Port Clinton City Hall. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent reflection for the
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Bowman, present. Margaret Phillips, present. Richard Morgan,
Here.
Kelly Gagel, here. Chad Hovis, here. Jerry Trolley, Kathy King.
Yeah, here. Thank you. Council, you previously received the March 26, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam President, I move to approve the minutes from March 26th.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Any discussion? We have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Trolley to approve the March 26, 2024 meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries and the minutes are approved. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation, no public comments. Move on to executive officers' reports. Council, this evening we have some new ordinances and resolutions. Administration has asked that they all be passed on their first reading if council so chooses, as they are time sensitive between Mr. Colston and Mr. Belo. They will give some explanations on their time to speak and possibly the mayor too. We have ordinance 9-24, ordinance 10-24, ordinance 11-24, and then resolution 24-2 and 24-3. And that is all I have this evening. We want to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, members of the council. A couple weeks ago, there was a missing person in Port Clinton, and I want to give a big thank you to the members of the Port Clinton Police Department and other departments, sheriff's office, whatnot, that helped find that individual and return her safely. You know, we all see the billboards or get the text messages, and you wonder to yourself, you know, am I ever going to see that person? Would I remember if I see that person? But a big kudos to a young man by the name of Colin Haynes. Colin works the overnight shift at one of our downtown hotels. Had someone come in at an odd hour. They had an interaction, that individual left, and he thought, man, I've seen that person before. Went on Facebook, and sure enough, it was the missing individual, which started a chain reaction of security camera tapes and so forth, which eventually led to finding her. So, you know, there was a reason they put that stuff out there, and it does work. And again, it was a very sharp-eyed young man that helped that process go along, so congratulations to Colin. Last week, Cabela's fishing tournament came into town. There were 140 professional fishermen, actually 141, but one was in a car accident and wasn't able to fish, along with 140 co-anglers, the pros and the co's. And during the two-day event, each pro was assigned a different co on the event. Great turnout, lots of positive comments from the folks. Mr. Colston and I spent quite a bit of time talking with the different competitors at the weigh-ins, and then one of us slept in one morning and didn't get down there for the early morning send-off. But Nicole Kokensparger and the team at the Chamber of Commerce also did a wonderful job. It was neat to see some of the back office activities of that whole thing with the weigh-ins, and actually just coincidentally, my daytime office being right across the street from Waterworks Park, when they announced the champion, that champion was escorted over to my office, locked the doors, and he had to go through a lie detector test before he was given his $15,000 and keys to a $100,000 boat. So that was kind of neat, a neat experience. Council, in front of you, and I'm saying this also to those listening out in internet land, the Big Bang reverse raffle for the 4th of July fireworks is still underway. We're selling tickets at $100 each. The goal is to sell 200 of them. If we do that, someone will walk out of the reverse raffle at the Walleye Festival with $7,500 cash, and we'll be able to have 4th of July fireworks. Honestly, ticket sales aren't going as I had anticipated. We're very, very far from our goal right now, and we're only about a month out from the final day. Arbor Day is going to be celebrated here in Port Clinton this coming Friday, the 26th, out at Portage Park at 5:30 p.m. I encourage everyone to attend. It's a great ceremony that our tree commissioner puts on. It's pretty fun. I think the Girl Scouts and some other organizations will be in attendance. Just a reminder, as we're getting closer to the summer, the third Thursday car shows in the 200 block of Madison Street will kick off on May 16th. The other dates, if you're interested, you can also do the third Thursday, but June 20th, July 18th, August 15th, and September 19th. If you're interested in more information, contact the local car show guru, Kenny Holcomb, who seems to put on every car show in a 5-state area. Kenny's phone number is 419-573-2171. 573-2171. The city is in desperate need of 3 seasonal employees. We've had a great crew the past couple of years. They're working their way through college and the military, and they're just going in other directions. If you're interested in being summer workforce, need to be 18 years of age, and at least one of the 3 needs to have a driver's license. Call City Hall 419-734-5522, extension 2. Starting wage is $18 an hour for that position. You'll be doing lawn mowing, trash, weed whipping, general maintenance around the community. Speaking of general maintenance, the city cleanup was this past weekend. It was a huge success based on the traffic jam that snaked its way all the way down to the fire station, with everything taking place here at City Hall. Thanks to Republic Services for their assistance, Luke Johnson and the fellows from the service department that worked very hard to make that happen. It's obviously spring. My allergies are a sign of that, and the April showers we're hearing hitting the roof here. So with that obviously means folks in the community will be doing spring cleaning, potentially mowing their lawns, and lots of garage sales, which means stuff will be placed out at the curb. Grass will either be shot out onto the street or not mowed at all and become knee-high, and signs will be placed everywhere. Well, folks, the city councils over the years have done lots of things to try to prevent that and make sure our community is in tip-top shape and beautiful. Speaking of the curbs, placing stuff out at the curbs, originally there was an ordinance on the books back in the 1950s. It was revised in 2022. Grass, whether it's shooting it out into the street or letting it grow high, has been on the books for quite some time, most recently amended in 2014. And signs have been updated in both 2014 and 2020. What I'm getting at is the time for I didn't know, I wasn't aware is gone. Tickets are now going to be written. There are about 4 or 5, maybe 6 individuals that on a routine basis send me pictures, and their mindset is, we're trying to make this community a better place with the infrastructure project, our parks program. There's a reason City Council took action leading all the way back to the 50s to try to keep Port Clinton clean and fresh and respectable, and some folks are just fed up with some of the stuff they're seeing out there. When I get those pictures, we forward them on to the police and go from there. A quick update on FLIP and the 14 independent projects that are taking place there. Since we last met, the Lakeshore Drive contract has been let out. We're still waiting on final approval of construction, and we have gone out for bid on Plan A, the above ground Phase 1, and we're anticipating a bid open in early May on that one. The district, a lot of folks are asking me, and I'm sure they're asking you as well, when's the entertainment going to start downtown? The week of May 6th, the street will be blocked off, the stage will go up, the sound system will come that following Sunday, I think that's Mother's Day. Tables will go in that following week, and then on the 16th of May, we'll begin entertainment. A few of the establishments downtown are going on their own for that first weekend, and then the official Chamber of Commerce organized, Main Street organized entertainment will start Memorial Day weekend. It is a full slate, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I want to say Sunday, but don't hold me to that one. They're getting they're getting posters to print and putting them all throughout downtown. It'll also be on their website. The intent is to get all the information out May 1st. And then just a personal reminder to the community, the J1 program is back in effect. That's the exchange students that come in from all over the world to come to the United States. Personally, I will have 8 this year, 4 from Thailand, 2 from Taiwan, 2 from Turkey. I saw some numbers that we needed to get for a project Mr. Buell is working on, about 300 here on the mainland and several hundred over on the islands, 2,500 in the Sandusky area. So if you see these kids, reach out, say hi. You know, it's not just a work program, it's a work and travel experience. I was fortunate enough to be invited to be on a nationwide J1 webinar last week. It happened to be the Chamber of Commerce director from Branson, Missouri, somebody else from New Jersey, and the assistant director of the United States Department of State, and me on this webinar. There were 400 or 500 folks. We talked about this program being more than just a work experience, being a cultural exchange. Folks told stories about what their kids from past years are doing now. I actually have one that works for the Parliament in Thailand. And the reach that this program has, it opens up doors and communications going both directions. It certainly has opened up my eyes to the culture that I'm not familiar with overseas, and the same. So if you see these kids around and about, say hi, show them around town if you want to. I'm sure they'd love a meal. With that, Madam President, unless there's any other questions, Mr. Trolley?
No, but there have been a few grass holes around,
Yeah.
quite a few. And you'll be getting pictures soon. Thank you, I have nothing else.
Does anyone on council have a question for the mayor?
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Auditor, Mr. Buell.
Thank you, Madam President. Excuse me. Council, good evening. Before you tonight is ordinance 11, which pertains to $4.5 million, a note issuance for bond anticipation notes. You received an email in advance about this. And hard copy before you is also a copy of this document, the fiscal officer certificate pertaining to the same. When the ordinance comes up on the agenda, I can speak to that more, but we all ask that you pass that tonight in order to meet certain milestones of the construction project. Number 2, the city's American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA balance today is just over $349,000. Per requirements by the federal government, funds from ARPA need to be obligated by the end of this calendar year. City administration will be coming to the Finance Committee and probably other committees with recommendations on how best to use those dollars for city needs and other items. So that'll be coming up this spring and summer. All of the funds have been appropriated by council, but some of those may go to contracts, for example, that would be above the threshold requiring council approval. So we'd all like everyone to be on the same page when it comes to expending those one-time funds. Item number 2 on the agenda under correspondence is a reconciliation summary report for December. Please take a look at that, and upon reading of that in the correspondence, please approve by a voice vote. Last item is the mayor reference project. There's a U.S. Department of Transportation discretionary grant competitive program that will be, city will be leading as an applicant along with the Park District of Ottawa County and the Greater Sandusky Partnership and some other entities on the other side of the bay. It's for active transportation improvements. There's construction and planning dollars set aside. We'll be pursuing planning dollars for trail improvements, so pedestrian and bicycle pathways into and out of the city of Port Clinton. Hopefully coming up with a really great engineered solution so there's pedestrian connectivity between Port Clinton and Portage along 163, which I think we all know is a bottleneck, and sometimes you see people carrying groceries or whatever in and out. That's an issue. And with all the other trail improvements, including possibly Catawba and Marblehead, it would be great if we were all linked together. In addition, a pedestrian connection across Sandusky Bay to link up to the Sandusky Bay pathway, which the city of Sandusky is all but completed over there. So I think it's a two-county initiative application for going for planning dollars, which would be a great project. It'd be around $100,000 just for the planning, not construction, but it would generate the engineered estimates of what those solutions would be around the bay connection and then some of the other pinch points along 163 through Port Clinton out around the peninsula. And there'll be an ordinance similar to the resolution for Vision Zero that's on your agenda tonight. That's a separate program, but there'll likely be an ordinance coming forward asking for a small, modest cost share from the city to meet some of the requirements of the grant project. So that'll be coming most likely at the next meeting. I'm happy to answer any preliminary questions you may have on that or anything else I just reported. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Bealow, can you explain, councilperson asked me about that resolution 24-2, Vision Zero strategy resolution?
Yeah, I'll defer to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Polk.
So you want to talk about it under your, and then the resolution 24-3 is something that the city does every year. So,
Talk to us both.
yeah, you'll talk about that too. Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Bealow? Thank you. Treasurer.
I do.
Oh,
Mr. Beadle, did you say you wanted ordinance 1124 passed tonight?
Yes, please.
all of
Let's-
us, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the ordinances and the resolution for the four streets.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report.
Yeah, through April 23rd of 2024, our bed tax collections are $28,796.93, which is approximately 10% of our expected revenue. Our dock tax is at $2,038.64, which is 10% as well. And on our short-term registration rentals, we are at $49,800 in collections this year, which exceeds our annual budget by about $19,800 already. So we're doing very well there.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for the treasurer, for Mr. Bealow, or Mr. Brenner? Move on to the law director's report.
I have nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Safety Service Director, Mr. Holston.
So yeah, the Vision Zero, the 24-2, we were approached by the county to go in on, there's some money out there, and big money, working with other counties like Wood, Erie, I think Sandusky, to make the roads safer. Two of the spots that are available is coming in on 53 and basically 163, which would include Perry Street. So this is strictly preliminary that we're going to get involved with them and support this cause, and we'll see where it leads. It could be anything from widening Perry Street, for example, to putting a bike trail in, putting a turn lane in. So another company is doing all the engineering and design stuff on it, so it wouldn't cost us anything to at least get involved and then see where it goes. But Ron Leidy's office contacted Mr. Nusser and I to talk about it, so that's what that's about. Do I know that it'll go anywhere? I do not, but it's certainly worth getting in the door to see where it could go when they're giving away that kind of money they're talking about. So that's that. And the other one is, as Mrs. Sardi stated, we do that every year to give money for the, what is that? The VFW?
Yes.
VFW, because we've done stuff in these, but VFW for the grave markers and for the parade. So just a formality that we'd like to get that taken care of so they can move forward with it. I think a lot of times we do it later and let's get it before the fact this time. So that's where we're at with that. That's about it. Any other questions that come up on the other ordinances, I certainly will answer.
Can you talk about ordinance 9-24 and 10-24, or do you want to do that when we get to that?
It doesn't
point?
matter. So 9 and 10, obviously you know the projects we're doing. We broke those down into separate projects. The 163 Perry, Monroe and Harrison, and then of course Laurel Avenue, water, sewer, and all that stuff. You've kind of given permission already to do all those things, but we need to refresh this, and for the separate projects, we need to go forward. So there is some time sensitivity with this, so we're going to go ahead and re-ask for another ordinance to be current with it. That's basically it. But like I said, you've already kind of given us the authority to move forward between the three of us here, or four of us, I guess, to move forward with these projects. So just kind of a formality to get up to date with the ordinances. And You know, before some of them were gonna be mill and fill, now they're gonna be water and sewer involved with that, because we got some funding for that, which you guys allowed before. So let's, just get everything cleaned up, I guess is the best way to describe those two ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions, Mr. Polster? Okay. Move on to Mr. Christman.
Nothing this evening.
Committee reports. Finance, Ms. Summers.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Environment, Public Works, Ms. O'Connor. Safety Services, Ms. Phillips.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Economic and Community Development, Ms. Phillips.
We're going to have a meeting on Thursday, April 25th at 6:30 in the conference center. Usually we have it after council, but I did not get that communicated to Sandy in time, so we're going to do it Thursday. Thanks, those timers aware.
Okay, we'll post, okay. We'll move on to correspondence. Under correspondence, this evening we have November 28th, 2023 Economic and Community Development meeting minutes. February 27th, 2024 Economic and Community Development Committee meeting minutes. March 26th, 2024 Economic and Community Development meeting minutes. February 22nd, 2024 Architectural Review Board meeting minutes. March 23rd, 2024 Department of Chamber of Commerce Liquor Control notice to legislative authorities objecting to the renewal of the retail liquor permit. March 28th, 2024 Architectural Review Board meeting minutes. March 14th, 2024 Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals meeting minutes. Bank reconciliation summary, December 31, 2023, provided by Mr. Belo. Mr. Ostheimer, the liquor control, what,
I emailed that to everyone.
okay,
It was just notifying you that you have, of certain rights that you have and
okay,
that don't apply to all the time.
okay, that's what I thought. I just
It
wanted
was
to,
emailed probably prior to the last meeting, it was canceled.
okay. Okay. Does council wish to take any action as to the correspondence this evening?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the bank reconciliation summary of December 31st, 2023.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Mr. Troy, any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Hovis, seconded by Mr. Troy, to approve the bank reconciliation summary for December 31st, 2023, submitted by Mr. Belo. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Kathy King,
Yes.
Ellen Cagle.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The bank reconciliation summary for December 31st, 2023, provided by Mr. Belo, is hereby approved. Do council wish to take any further action as to the correspondence?
Madam President, I move for acceptance of the correspondence as listed on the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Troy. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Troy, to approve the correspondence as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Okay, the correspondence are approved. Move on to readings of ordinances and resolutions. Under third reading, we have ordinance 4-24. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 4-24?
Ordinance number 4-24, an ordinance to approve January 2024 replacement pages to the Port Clinton codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 4-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Troy.
make a motion we adopt ordinance 4-24. But first, we have to retain an emergency clause.
Okay. You're making a motion to retain the emergency clause? Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I know something. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Troy, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to retain the emergency clause as to ordinance 4-24. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kelly Gangle?
Yes.
Pat Hovis?
Yes.
Beth Gilman?
Yes.
Margaret Phillips?
Yes.
Kathy King?
Yes.
Richard Morgan?
Yeah.
Jerry Trolley?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The emergency clause is hereby retained as to ordinance 4-24. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 4-24?
Madam President,
Mr.
make a
Troy.
motion we adopt ordinance 4-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second?
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? I have a motion by Mr. Trolling, seconded by Mrs. Hovis to adopt ordinance 4-24. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kathy King,
Yes.
Kelly Gagel,
Yes.
Terry Trolley,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Ordinance 4-24 is hereby adopted. We have no second readings. Move on to first readings. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 9-24.
Ordinance number 9-24, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to advertise for qualifications and enter into a contract for planning, design, and bidding services for the OTT State Route 163 Perry, Monroe, Harrison pedestrian crossing and road construction improvement project and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 9-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolling.
to make a motion to waive the 3 required readings in ordinance 9-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? A motion by Mr. Trolling, seconded by Mrs. Hovis to waive the 3 required readings as to ordinance 9-24. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Richard Morgan,
Yeah.
Kelly Gagel,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Terry Trolley,
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The 3 required readings as to ordinance 9-24 hereby waived. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 9-24?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Trolling.
make a motion to retain an emergency clause in ordinance 9-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Trolling, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to retain the emergency clause as to ordinance 9-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes.
Kelly Gagel,
Yes.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Terry Trolley,
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried by a vote of 7-0. Does council wish to take any further, or the emergency clause is hereby retained. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 9-24?
Madam President,
Mr.
I'd like
Trolling.
to make a motion to adopt ordinance 9-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Hovis. Any discussion?
I-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I have a question? This is, where are we talking about here?
924 is Perry, Monroe, and Harrison.
Yeah, I don't, Monroe and Harrison don't cross, that's what I understand.
Monroe is the 2 streets that are the 2 one-way streets
Yeah.
by the Armory. So they come up,
Yeah,
go around on Perry Street,
yeah,
go down all the way to Harrison. In front of the Art Garage, in front of PC Manufacturing.
so the intersection we're talking about is the one by the grist mill.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just kind of confused why Harrison's included in there, it's 2 blocks away.
Perry Street is
Yeah.
from the grist mill west, which connects to Harrison south.
As soon as you go to the stop sign at the corner of Perry, that turns into Harrison.
Yes, I know that. So, we're dealing with the intersection by the Armory or the urgent care, correct? By the grist mill.
The
No,
2
this
one-
isn't for the intersection.
No,
This is
This is
for
the
the whole.
streets.
The streets themselves.
The streets
Okay.
themselves.
All right,
Does
I'm
that answer your
sorry.
question?
That's all I needed, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Because I couldn't figure out how Monroe and Harrison intersected.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay,
this is for the project.
all right, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Trolling, seconded by Mrs. Hovis to adopt ordinance 9-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Terry Trolley,
Yes.
Kelly Gagel,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Ordinance 9-24 is hereby adopted. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 10-24?
Ordinance number 10-24, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to advertise for qualifications and enter into a contract for planning, design, and bidding services for the Laurel Avenue Improvement Project and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 10-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Troy?
I would like to make a motion that we waive the 3 required readings of ordinance 10-24.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to waive the 3 required readings as to ordinance 10-24. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The 3 required readings are hereby waived as to ordinance 10-24. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 10-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley.
I'd like to make a motion that we retain an emergency clause in ordinance 10-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to retain an emergency clause as to ordinance 10-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The emergency clause is hereby retained as to ordinance 10-24. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 10-24?
Madam President,
Yes,
I'd
Mr.
like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 10-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion?
Yeah, just one, is this from Fremont Road to Sixth?
Basically, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you, Madam President.
Any other questions? Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to adopt ordinance 10-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Ordinance 10-24 is hereby adopted. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 11-24?
Ordinance number 11-24, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of not to exceed $4,500,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying costs of improving streets by resurfacing, grading, draining, paving, and making other improvements as designated in the plans approved to be approved by council and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 11-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley.
to make a motion that we waive 3 required readings of ordinance 11-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to waive the 3 required readings as to ordinance 11-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The 3 required readings as to ordinance 11-24 are hereby waived. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 11-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley.
I'd like to make a motion that we retain the emergency clause in ordinance 11-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to retain the emergency clause as to ordinance 11-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel. Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The emergency clause is hereby retained as to ordinance 11-24. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 11-24?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 11-24.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Hovis, to adopt ordinance 11-24. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Ordinance 11-24 is hereby adopted. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, resolution 24-2.
Resolution 24-2, a resolution adopting the Vision Zero strategy to eliminate fatalities and serious injuries from vehicle crashes on Ottawa County roads and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to resolution 24-2?
Madam President, I move we waive the 3 required readings for resolution 24-2.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Phillips? Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Ms. Phillips, to waive the 3 required readings as to resolution 24-2. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel. Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The 3 required readings as to resolution 24-2 are hereby waived. Does council wish to take any further action as to resolution 24-2?
Madam President,
Mrs. Gilman.
I move we retain the emergency clause for resolution 24-2.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Any discussion? We have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Ms. Phillips, to retain the emergency clause as to ordinance 24-2. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The emergency clause as to resolution 24-2 is hereby retained. Does council wish to take any further action as to resolution 24-2?
Madam President, I move we adopt resolution 24-2.
Thank
I
you.
will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gillen, seconded by Ms. Phillips, to adopt resolution 24-2. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Resolution 24-2 is hereby adopted. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, resolution 24-3.
Resolution number 24-3, a resolution to appropriate funds for the purpose of decoration of graves, conducting memorial services, and otherwise engaging in activities appropriate for the celebration of Memorial Day 2024.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to resolution 24-3?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms.
I move we waive the 3 required readings for resolution 24-3.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Ms. Phillips, to waive the 3 required readings as to resolution 24-3. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
The vote, or the motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The 3 required readings as to resolution 24-3 are hereby waived. Does council wish to take any further action as to resolution 24-3?
Madam President, I move we adopt resolution 24-3.
Thank you. Have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? I have a motion by Ms. Gilman, seconded by Ms. Phillips, to adopt resolution 24-3. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Resolution 24-3 is hereby adopted. I will move on to business from the floor. Mr. Morgan.
Nope. Nothing.
Thank you. Mrs. Gangle. Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
Thank you, Madam President. Arbor Day is Friday, starting at 5:30. These are all very nice. It's at the park again, as we've had it in the past. I wish more people would attend. I've not missed one of these in years, I think, right, Mr. Mayor, didn't I? And it's just a nice, pleasant time, and you see children, and we do have a bit of honoring that goes on at that time, and I think we're getting away from it because we're so busy with other things. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Novus.
I agree with Ms. Phillips, and it's fun to watch Mr. Holman interact with
Yes.
the Cub Scouts. It's a lot of fun. And I'll be there reading a poem as well as Mrs. Gilman, so yeah, hopefully it will be warmer than it was last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Thank
And that's
you.
all.
Thank you. Mr. Trolley?
And to back this up, this will be our 35th year as Tree City USA, which is one of the higher Tree City honors in the area in Northwest Ohio. And I'll be making cookies for it. That's all.
And I will also be reading a poem. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Mrs. King?
Nothing good.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman?
Madam President, nothing to present, but I move we go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. It is now 6:40. I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Mr. Trolley, to enter into executive session at 6:40. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Kelly Gangel.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Kathy King.
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Mark Phillips,
Yes.
Richard Morgan,
Yes.
and Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. We will now enter into executive session.